before we start this week's show, please can we just have a moment of silence for Maurice Hawkins not winning his first bracelet?
You see Mike Holtz's speech when he won his bracelet. So I don't know how much you know, but obviously Mike Holtz is the Poker News podcast presenter, absolutely detests Maurice Hawkins with a passion. And Maurice comes second, maybe half an hour before Mike wins the 1.5k Super Turbo. And as the final card hits the river and Mike celebrates, he runs straight to the camera for like ESPN or WSOP or whatever it is. And he shouts at the camera, "Maurice Hawkins, this is how you close out or win a fucking bracelet." And he grabs the bracelet out of the thing, doesn't even wait for like anybody to hand it to him. It's like dangling it in front of the camera.
Fantastic.
Like, I missed that. I'm back from Vegas now, obviously, but I'm good friends with Mike. And yeah, what a day. What a day to wake up. I woke up and it's like an amazing final table. You know, to be fair, Maurice has got you're not going to get a tougher 600 final table, right? Let's be fair. But he comes second, which is the absolute nut result for everybody.
Yeah.
Except those people he owes the money to.
I was just about to say, I want to know how big the line was behind him when he went to the cash desk, because there would have been a few people waiting to get paid.
So I saw something on Twitter which was hilarious, and it was Mike Holt winning the bracelet, and then the final card comes down and the rail erupts. You've got like Ben Ludlow, all of his friends, all the Poker News, like all cheering and dancing. And then it cut. So, and the title of the tweet was like, "What it's like to come first versus what it's like to come second." And then Maurice Hawkins, literally the river card comes, you hear a little cheer from the crowd here. And you see Maurice turn in silence with his backpack on and slowly walk off. So I was like,
couldn't happen to a nice guy.
Couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke. But yeah, well, I mean, it's actually sadly quite good for him because I think his redundancy paperwork's gone through. So, yeah, not redundancy,
bankruptcy. Yeah,
so, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to be seeing that money bar him, which is a shame.
Yeah. Well, we haven't done the formal introduction yet, so welcome to the Bad Poker Podcast. Welcome Dan Williams, who's fresh in from Las Vegas and the biggest score of his career of $22,000. Welcome.
Hello. Welcome. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. Hello. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, you don't need to introduce me. If people have tuned in because I'm on, that's a problem. And if they've seen I'm on, they're probably tuning out. So either which way, I think you're okay. But yes, we are back from Vegas. Thank you for that very kind introduction. It was, it was good. I mean, what can you've already kind of prefaced with how the trip went. It was a good trip. It was, it was better than average. But yeah, good to be back. I'm lying. I'd love to be back in Vegas right now, grinding, raising some American fish. But no, we're back in Blighty. But yeah, how are you guys? You good?
Yeah, absolutely fine, mate. Yeah, like looking forward to Party Poker Manchester next week, aren't we, Don?
Yeah, certainly are. Yeah, should be a good laugh.
Yeah. So so you took down $22,000 for was it fourth place at the Aria Daily?
Yeah. Funny story. Funny trip. So obviously, for anybody that knows me, whenever I go away, I'll always offer to sell some action to some friends.
Hi.
Chris did well out of it. But no, it's a funny one. Like working in the industry, and I'm not a full-time player anymore. I just play when I go away and do things. I've always tried to sell pieces. I've got a lot of friends, that family life, they can't go and play. They don't get the opportunity to go to Vegas and play, or any other tours for that matter. And they've left poker in the past, so I always try and sell a little bit to them. This year was crazy. I had a lot of action come in, which I kind of probably sold more than I was planning to, if I'm truthful. But when Tony Miles, the WSOP world champion, runner-up of whatever year that was, comes in and buys a big piece, you don't say no to Tony Miles, do you? You want some WSOP run good in there. So yeah, we played a pretty good schedule. We played, I would say, probably the most poker we've ever played for, and this sounds ironic, but for the least returns, insofar as we played like the employees event day one, and we bust 5 minutes from the bag. We played the Mystery Million bounty thingy, and we bust 5 minutes from the bag. Like, it was like long, arduous days of grinding. And Chris can probably attest, because I shared some of the hand histories. We were getting brutalized. So we were like, same story, first 4 or 5 levels, quadruple average, taking people to the streets. My favorite kind of poker. I'm a cash game player, kind of more by trade, I suppose. So that was really fun, building massive stacks. And then it's like, oh, now we get the aces and the kings and the big hands in the middle. Oh no, we lose those. Okay, all right, let's keep chipping away. So it was getting a bit touch and go, I suppose, a bit of small cash. And then I had this really difficult situation, which I don't think people quite realise. But on one of the nights, a friend of mine was in the Venetian seniors going super deep. So a group of us went to rail him and cheer him on. We'd already railed him, and he'd final tabled the win seniors like a couple of days before. So we get there, there's a 400 bounty on. It's not part of my package. And I'm like, the boys, let's have a drink, let's get some food, let's just play it. So I'm like, I'll flick it in, like whatever, don't think anything of it. That's about 6 p.m. and at 5 a.m. I'm at the final table, and I'm like, shit, this is the first event I'm going to have a decent cash in, and it's not part of the stake. I feel terrible. What's going on? As luck will have it, we then got 3 outed 3 times in a row and came 9th, so it didn't matter too much. But yeah, so on my last day, we went and played the Aria for the last game, 800 daily, 200k guaranteed, really good tournament. Aria's phenomenal, by the way, absolutely amazing. Except for the slots in the background. But when you've been going to the Orleans, right, and as soon as you walk through, your face kind of ages 25 years.
The Orleans is,
the Aria is a blessing, really. But
Orleans has to be seen to be believed. It's quite.
Oh, it's horrendous, isn't it? I'd forgotten how bad it was.
It's how dirty the chips are that gets me. It
you know what?
blows my mind.
The one night I played there, I played a mixed game there, and obviously I'm desperate to play mixed games. They're my favourite. And I got there, and I remember we were playing like Limit Hold'em, a round which is desperate in itself, isn't it? A round of Limit. And I was just trying to bet, and the 3 chips were stuck together.
That's exactly what happened to me when I was there.
I had to look at the dealer and like announce the amount and just be like, yeah. And he like looked at me funny, looked at the chips funny, and I was like, no. It's just 2 bets, I promise. But
the same thing happened to me. I was playing Limit High Low when I was there. And I went to like pick up 2 chips, and about 5 came up altogether. And I had to
and then part of the carpet came with it.
Oh, it's fucking disgusting.
It was gross. But back to the Aria. So last bullet of this thing. It's been loads of close calls. Awkward week, I suppose. First bullet, sit down. I don't know if Chris remembers the hand history, but literally bust on the very first hand with house versus quads. Very first hand, and I'm like, this is not the way this crypto goes. And it's a spot. I'm not going to give you the boring hand history, but like, it's pretty hard that I lose this spot. He has to have exactly one combination of 6s and nothing else. It makes sense given the action. And he kind of gives me this dirty rub down as well, where I bet he jams really quietly. Oh no, he kind of leans in. Did you call? And I'm like, oh fuck yeah, I did. Yeah. Shit. Have you got 6s, mate? Yeah, I do. Oh, okay. So anyway, I kind of got some food, and I was like, we've cashed for $800 on the trip. Like, I've never had a losing stake session ever. Like, I've never lost money with backers. So I'm like, oh, fuck. Boy, should we just fire one more bullet? I'm feeling good. I'm playing well. I mean, I don't think Chris even did. Chris might have said yes, so because I did give him his money back. But a handful of people went, fuck it. So in we go, and we just go on a tear. We get sat on the final table to start with, which is the same seat we finished the tournament in, ironically. We beat up loads of American regs, which is great fun, and end up cashing it. So we got 5-handed, and the structure had been phenomenal. I don't know if you've ever played the dailies at the Aria, but average big blinds throughout the whole tournament, considering it's a single dayer, were around they fluctuated between 35 and 40 from like the later stages onwards. So loads of play, really, really good. But when we got to the final table, all the short stacks kept doubling, which obviously is never great, especially from when people are in ICM cages. And I was one of the ones kind of in an ICM cage. It's all right if it's the others and I can take advantage, but and then we eventually, like, average stack got down to, I don't know, maybe 13 bigs with 5 left. And I don't know if you know this guy. I can't think of his real name now, but the Singing Cowboy. Have you seen him on like the No Filter documentary and stuff? American guy, young lad, definitely on nootropics. So I ended up sat with him from like 3 tables out, and he just was singing every hand, like genuinely like singing, making songs up about, you know, the flop might be. There was a hand I played with him where I open button and he peels big blind and the flop comes King 8-8, I think it was Rainbow, and he's singing, "Ooh, the kings and the eights and the king," and I'm like, mate, shut the fuck up. He got the house with King 8, mind you, against me when I've got queens and I'm going ham against this idiot. But yeah, so anyway, we get 5-handed and it's average like 13 big. So we look at the numbers from an ICM standpoint, and I had the most surreal moment. I look round at my rail, right? So I'm playing this 800 day lead, and they want to do an ICM deal, and the numbers are good for me. It's better than the third, and I'm 4th out of 5th in chips. It's tiny margins, you know, like a big blind between 2nd and 4th, but it still is what it is. And I look round at my rail, and my rail is Tony Miles, as we mentioned earlier, WSOP main event runner-up. Anton Wigg, we all know Anton Wigg, super duper high. Bobby James, I'm looking at my, and like the rest of the table kind of all do this thing and look at my rail, and the ones that are educated in poker kind of look at my rail and then look at me and a bit like, what? So like, I wasn't that precious about dealing, if I'm honest. I was happy to take the variance. I wanted the trophy, I wanted the title, and it was 46k up top. So I wasn't overly precious about dealing, but the other 4 all really wanted to deal, and I don't know if that's because they saw who my rail was and just made a wild overestimation of mine because I was with them.
It can't have hurt.
No, and to be honest, it was one of those ones that I sat there and I thought, I looked at the numbers. I think it was 9k for 5th, and it was so tight in the numbers, and I don't think I've ever dealt in my life. I was like, I said to Tony and Anton, I said, I wouldn't deal here. I would just play it out because I have an edge, and if I can just win an all in, you know, double up, everybody's short, then I think I win the whole thing. No, or at least I put myself in a good spot.
It doesn't, you know, how much of an edge can you have when it's 13 big blinds?
Well, given the way the rest of the tournament played out, a fucking huge one.
But you know what I mean? You can have an edge there, and it could go tits up very quickly.
The issue I had, there were 2 things. One, obviously you have the backers, and like, I've got some of these friends that have 1%, right, and they're at home with kids. They never play poker ever anymore, and I was like, you know, if I get 22 bags, it's like, for them it's 200 quid, which that doesn't sound like huge money in the grand scheme of things, but you know, they've invested like 20 quid or something, you know, so it's a 10x their money, and you know, they could take their kids out for dinner with that, or the wife out with dinner, or get their car fixed. Like, one of them messaged me and said, this couldn't have come at a better time, my car's in the garage and it's fucked. And so kind of that was one of the factors in my head, and I was like, well, maybe this time I will, almost for the greater good, right? But also the rest of the table had absolutely no ICM understanding. There was a spot with nine-handed. I ended up super short, where I realised that there's 2 guys with like 3 or 4 bigs, literally just folding to try and ladder. And I'm like 3rd in chips at this time, so I'm just going ham against the right stacks. And the guy in the big blind is like 7 of 9, but he's double both of those stacks. So his ICM cage is huge. It's locked. He's going nowhere without aces and kings, right? And even that's sometimes a bit egregious. So I'm just like open shoving on his blind every time. Boom, 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 like 25 bigs, 30 bigs, boom. Folds round to him and he tanks and he calls it off with ace queen O, which, given the situation, was great for him because I had king queen O, but that's not the point. I was like, I thought you understood ICM. And then it was kind of those things. I was like, do you know what? I've made a map. Like, I've overestimated the field at this final table from an ICM strategy. So, yeah, maybe dealing and then just taking the higher variance route will work. And that's exactly what happened. We ended up 4th place, so we got better than 4th place money. We got it in with ace queen, I think, versus king jack for all the chips to kind of cement the trophy. It was a fucking nice trophy as well. And we did not win that one, but yeah. So all in all, it was a good trip. I'm happy we made some people some money. Yeah, might have to up the markup next time though. I joke, but I never normally charge at markup, whether I think I should or not. Like, and I've got pros in the industry that tell me I absolutely should, and I'm just like, look, it's for my friends. It's just a fun sweat. It doesn't need it. This was the first time I actually did, and it was only because I looked at the numbers from the last 3 or 4 events that I've played. So I don't play a huge amount anymore, and I'd realised I'd like already 10x'd my backers' money. I was just like, Well, maybe with these 400k prize pools that we're going to be playing, first place prizes, maybe it's not too egregious. And you also hear about other people that charge markup that's ridiculous. I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. I've heard about some people. I'm just like, really? Like, how does that even work? But yeah, so all in all, look, great trip. Sad to be back. Did make Diamond Plus on my Caesars reward card as well, so that's a big bonus. That really helps when you've got a friend who is a degenerate gambler and just takes your Caesars off. Just takes your Caesars membership card and starts betting $250 a spin on 100-hand blackjack.
Wasn't Maurice Hawkins, was it?
No, it wasn't. No, it's definitely my friend. I win money. He'd want my comps. No, you know what? It's a funny story. So I met at the airport, not intentionally. I met Bobby James. I know Bobby James from the UK. So
his name will be coming up again later.
Wow, so funny story. So me and Bobby came up together. So me, Bobby, and Adam Neal, that now works at ACR. All three of us were, back in the day when we first started playing seriously, were coached by Ian Simpson from 888. And we all kind of were coming up at the same time. So I've known Bobby a very long time, good friends. Don't see him as much as I'd like, if I'm honest. And anyway, I bumped into him at the airport. I'm stood there like waiting to go through, put my bags in, and I just hear, Dan! I'm like, oh, that sounds like somebody I know. Who's that? I want a quiet time at the airport. And I look.
Alan Partridge?
Yeah, very Alan Partridge. And so anyway, I get chatting to Bobby. We have dinner at the airport, and he's telling me, and I don't know if you've seen this story, but he played a 25k high roller on the plane with the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I heard him talking about it I was on the Poker News podcast earlier in the week.
It was, yeah. So,
he binked it, didn't he? Did he bink it?
Not quite, okay. But it's a funny story.
He got a six-figure payout.
4. So we're sat at the airport, and he's like, Dan, can you help me film? I need to film all this content for my YouTube channel. I'm playing this event, and our flight's delayed. So the event was supposed to start, I think, 15 minutes after our flight was scheduled originally to leave, and then it's delayed. So he's like, shit, how am I going to play this? What's going on? Like, he's already registered, all a bit crazy. So he's like, can you film the content for me? And I'm like, of course I can, Bob. I can do that for you. So the very first thing he does is he points the camera in my face and he says, so Dan, 25k high roller up in the air on Skylink. What are your thoughts? And I turn around and go, I don't give a shit, Bobby. It's not my money. I'm not winning anything. Like, what do you want me to say, sort of thing? And then on camera, he's like, fine, mate, old friend, I'll give you a 5% free roll.
Oh.
I'm like, all right, yeah, Sam. But then the whole flight, he's messaging me on like the internet, like, I've got this big hand, come and watch. And he's paid for like seats nearer the front of the plane. He's upgraded because he needs the power. He needs the plug. He's got this poor woman sat next to him that knows nothing about poker, half asleep the whole flight. And he's messaging me. So I'm like running up, filming him, like he's talking about this hand and so on and so forth, to the point where the stewardess turns up to me. She says, you have to go back to your seat, sir. I went, yeah, but I'm just filming something for my friend. He's a content creator. It's fine. She went, no, we'll run out. Genuinely, she said, no, we'll run out of air here. I went, if we run out of air here, we're all fucked. It's only separated by a fucking curtain. Excuse my language. But it's not like it's completely sealed off. And
I didn't realise there was a limit on air.
Like, we're going to run out of the air up here. I need to stop talking. Like, what is going on? Anywho, long story short, he ends up coming fourth for like 120k. Was $500,000 up top, so that would have been very nice 5%. But yeah, so the trip started really well. Like, we landed, we went, I went to my hotel, we got him back to where he was staying. He was at Paris for the time. And I just wake up the next morning and there's $3,500 in my bank, and I'm like, oh, Bobby, I wasn't serious. Like, have it back to it. I don't need it. He's like, no, it's fine. Let's use it to fund these Caesar Reward Plus things. I was like, okay. So then he's doing this 100-hand spin of bloody video poker, whatever it is, 250 quid a spin, boom, 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 bashing through. And he's doing his, and the first thing I see, I'm like, what's this? He's like, oh, when it shakes, it means you've got a royal flush. And all of a sudden, it like freezes and starts shaking. I'm like, is that a royal flush? He's like, oh yeah, like. So the next thing I know, he's just got a royal flush on like video poker. But anyway, long story short, he ends up getting us. But I think he might even be 7-star or somewhere close to 7-star, and I've got Diamond Plus. So yeah, all in all, not the worst trip. If I'm
sounds like fun.
Yeah. comp rooms in your future, Dan. Like,
Mate, I got comp rooms for the rest of the year. I checked the app today. I couldn't believe it, except for the odd weekend now and again. So now look, there's a part of me that's like, can I get out for the main event?
oh.
Tempting, but probably not. But no.
Well, if you do give me a shout, I'm happy to give you a bit more stake.
Gonna give you some of the money back.
I'm thinking of contacting Mike Holtz because it was him that offered me $1,000 for my patchwork trousers that time. So
That's right.
Mike Holt loves clothing that's a little bit out there.
Yeah, well, I was reporting there in 23, and I vaguely knew who he was, but he stopped me while I was reporting. I had these kind of patchwork flares on. He went, "They're great pants, man." Well, whenever an American says great pants, I always think like my arse is hanging out. And I went, "Oh, cheers, mate." And he said, "I'll tell you what, if I bink this tournament, I'll buy them off you for $1,000." So I went, "Yeah, sure, man." We shook on it, and he went out the next hand.
Yeah.
That's the kind of luck I bring people.
I had a funny one where I was wearing this at the win. So this is my favourite.
Oh, go Ducks, go!
Mighty Ducks jersey, and I was wearing it in the win. And oh my God, like the Americans were absolutely falling. I had like so many guys come up to me, "Mighty Ducks, dude!" And I was like, at first I thought they were trying to punch me or something. So I was just like, I'm just there quite quietly watching my senior friend in a senior final table, and then these young lads are just coming up like grabbing me and jumping up, and I'm like, yeah, not good. Someone said to me, "I'll buy that off you for $500." And I went, "You do realise you can buy it in the sports shop literally 5 minutes outside of here for like $80." He's like, "Really?" I'm like, yeah. He's like, "Oh, okay." He's like, "You locked yourself a sale."
Just said yes, and then bought another one.
I mean, I didn't want to get kicked out of the win, right? There's nothing on underneath it. I'm not sure anybody needs to see that. I'm past the golden age. I'm 42 now. I'm like, those days have gone. Absolutely.
You wouldn't be the first person to get their nipples out in Vegas and get in trouble for it.
No, but I kind of want to go back. Maybe.
But obviously you mentioned your Poker News colleague Mike Holtz winning his second bracelet. Do you think this will finally shut up Chad Holloway banging on about his bracelet now? Or?
I mean, it's going to be interesting when Chad. If you watch the Poker News podcast, I love Chad, but my lord, he does love the fact he won it 13 years ago now. But he always has it on the table, right, for the podcast. So it's going to be really interesting to now see Mike Holtz is there next to him. Like, it kind of takes the shine off a little bit, doesn't it?
It does, because Chad's was the employees event, whereas Mike's is... Mike was like a turbo donkfest, wasn't it?
Listen to me. I'm going to tell you something about it. Do not beat up... This employee event is the best... Like, honestly, it is...
I played it myself. I played it when I was there, so...
It is the best tournament I've ever played. How I don't have 2 bracelets is beyond me. Genuinely. I mean, I should probably have 3 and I've only played it twice. It's that... But it's also super friendly, right? Obviously, you'd have seen all the issues with the dealers and people complaining, and they tested a lot of these brand new dealers in the employees event. And actually, I have to say, dealing to dealers normally is a bit of a sticky one, but this year, especially my table, it was lovely. Like we're all just giving her a bit of time, like helping them out. The dealers were trying to help them, like explain to them, like without being a dick, just best way to kind of separate side pots and things like that. And actually, like the new dealers, I think, came away from the employees event on a high, going, "Oh, this summer's actually not going to be that bad." They obviously went into the mini millions the next day. I went, "Oh shit, I was completely wrong. Everybody hates me."
And now they're rating me on their apps as well.
I mean, the rating system's a bit odd, isn't it? Like,
it is, yeah. We discussed this
I heard a
last week.
story where one of the dealers dealt like a pretty sick bad beat out, and then as the guys leaving the table, he went, "Remember to rate me a 5." It's like the ultimate rub.
I will. Don't worry about that.
But no, I know what they're trying to do. I know they're trying to find ways to compensate these dealers that are doing a great job. But my argument, I suppose, is any brand new dealer that we get this year that stays the entirety of the summer and then comes back next year, they're the winners, not the regular dealers. And some of my good friends have been dealing the series for many, many years, and they're phenomenal. But they're always going to get the 5-star ratings, right? They are the best dealers in the US circuit. So it kind of feels like all we're doing is there's already going to be a pay gap because they're not going to be paying the newbies the same as they're paying the experienced guys, like, you know, like Chris the Beard and all those.
Oh, he's great. He was over in Ireland again this year.
He's so good. He's everywhere.
He's a fantastic dealer.
Oh, one of the
and he looks amazing. That beard game is on point.
So I met him on the WPT cruise a couple of years ago when we were on that, and he was just phenomenal. So he is one of the best dealers in the world, right? We all know that. He's going to be paid significantly more than the dealers, and he should be. But then he's probably going to win the $1,000 every week, right? Or get some of that extra award. And I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, but how much of this is going to segregate the super experienced ones and from the newbies, and how many newbies are we going to lose? This is a big issue I have in poker, especially when I go to the series. I get really angry with players abusing these new dealers. It's not their fault. They're not given enough training. They're not given enough time because it costs money. And then they get put in literally in the firing line with chirpy, usually American, but, you know, maybe some European, but mainly American, over-righteous shit regs that think they deserve the world. And I know we're paying a rate that's quite high, but I don't know. I'm just a realist, right? They're new. Just
we discussed this a couple of weeks ago with Jeremy Geist, the poker org reporter.
Yeah.
And, you know, the World Series is so much bigger than any other event. There's no other way to do it. You have to get newbie dealers in. That's it. Yeah. There is no other way around it. And people have to accept that. And if you're playing one of the $500 events at the beginning of the series, that's part of what you have to put up with. That's just it. And if you don't like it, don't play that event.
Well, if it tilts you that much, like you're on the strip, first and foremost, if you want to play a sub 1K buying any given week of that series, I went to the Aria, the dealers were great. You know, it was an 800. I went to the Venetian and played a 400. Dealers were fine. Like, they weren't the best, but my lord, they certainly weren't the newbies at the WSOP. I went to the Orleans. Some of the Orleans dealers are really good. They can all play deal the mix. They're very experienced. Yeah. If you know that tilts you and you feel that egregiously upset by that standard of dealing, just don't play, or book your trip not the first 2 weeks of the series, but the last 2 weeks of the series.
Couldn't agree more.
Like, just why put yourself in that? If it makes you genuinely that angry and you're an adult, it's a bit sad, isn't it? Like, if it makes you that angry.
You have to realise when you're going there that there are 5 times as many tables as there are in any other event in the world. How do you think they're going to do it? And what, do you want it self-dealt?
Yeah.
You know, that's the only other option.
And the irony is, if we all help these dealers through, they're much more likely to come back next year with a year's worth of experience. And then what? They're pretty competent, right?
Yeah.
And this is the argument I've had with so many players. I last year almost got in a fight with a very, very, very angry pro-Trump, anti any religion that isn't American, about a dealer where he came in and the dealer dealt the river and it wasn't the river he wanted, and he slammed the cards and he was in the 10 seat, I was in the 9 seat, and he started shouting in this dealer's face, and she was Asian. I don't know exactly which nationality, but she was definitely of Asian heritage, and he was shouting in her face, and she didn't speak a huge amount of English. I don't think she cared that much. But then all of a sudden he was like, yeah, fucking Asians in my fucking country, Trump's gonna, and I was like, whoa. Firstly, cards are the cards. Secondly, don't be an and I won't swear too much on your podcast. I don't want to get taken down.
Well, you already have.
If you don't, me and Chris will. So
that's fine. But yeah, like, just don't be a prick. And he squared up to me, and I stood up, and I was like, anyway, like, I'm not a big, imposing guy. I'm scrawny as anything.
No, but you draw the line somewhere, and I mean, that kind of racial, there's no need for it.
And that's why this year I made a big thing of it. In the employee event, as soon as the dealer started, I sat down from hand one, and I said to her, we all know it's your first ever event. We're all here with you, aren't we, table? Kind of almost head down. Table. And I was like, and we're going to help you through it. If anybody gives you shit, you come and tell us, and we will all tell them to shut up, won't we, table? And the table's like, ugh. But it meant that I'd kind of set my expectation, and the dealer had a better time. So
Cool.
Good for you.
But there's been big changes this year at the WSOP. Like essentially, they flipped the rooms around from day one starting at the Horseshoe, and the day twos and final tails finishing at Paris. Has there been a much difference for player experience?
yes, insofar that I didn't realise, so I was wandering around the bloody side for ages. Not really. I think what better I think is in the new layout. So if you think where the Thunderdome was originally in the Horseshoe, right at the back in the gold and silver section, that's now the Daily Deep Stack room.
Right.
So they have a huge room just for Daily Deep Stacks, and the numbers are growing. Now, obviously, Poker News was sponsoring the Daily Deep Stacks for the last couple of years, and they used to be up in the Normandy room, which is, for those that are unaware, when you come into the Horseshoe, there's the cash game room, and it's like there's elevators to the right-hand side, and there's more banquet rooms upstairs, and they were in there. So kind of right out of the way, and they'd use that for a bit of overflow in like the 500s, the gladiators, etc. But this year, that's the bespoke room, and the numbers have been phenomenal. Like Sinead Davenport won one earlier in the week. I think when now, I think it was like 20, 25, 30K maybe for a 250. Like the numbers are astronomical, which is really good. The new big stage that they have is interesting. I mean, obviously it needs to be different because of ESPN.
Yeah.
So
it's making a statement for sure.
Well, it is, but it's.
I didn't say that was a good statement or even a bad statement. I'm just saying it's a statement.
Well, I know they spent a lot of money on it first.
Yeah, I bet.
I think it's going to work very well from a broadcast edited ESPN standpoint. I think from a player spectator experience, it's lacking a little bit. So it's where the high roller cash games used to be in the main room on Paris side. So right at the back. But there's 3 isolated tables with loads of space, a bit like they had before. But if you remember before, when you would go to like the viewer kind of barrier, you were pretty close to, especially to the main feature, weren't you? You weren't very far away. This one, you're kind of quite far away, actually. You can't really see a lot.
So is it like going from the Upton Park to the Olympic Stadium? Kind of.
I mean, I've never been to either of those, I don't think. But I'm looking to Olympic Park. Isn't that where?
It's like West Ham's old ground to their new ground have basically gone from a tight ground to a running track.
Yeah. I guess so. Like it's fine, and it serves its purpose. But then they've also got in the middle section now. They've constructed a media desk, so that's where Ali Najad, Norman Chad, Stapes, etc., are all sat whilst commentating. And then from the outside, what's really interesting is they would have like the 3 or 4 additional tables for like final tables that weren't the main focuses, and they'd all be sectioned off individually, right? So and raised. They're not now. So I was watching James, the Scottish lad, win his stud bracelet, and it was just on a normal table. It was just on a normal random outer table, and it was a very, very. Like, I walked in the room, and this guy's running around with a bracelet and the chip stacks down. I'm thinking, what's going on here? Like, somebody it should be, deeper in that crevice. But look, I mean, it is what I think. Logically, it makes more sense. I think if you take a step back, like from you guys at home that haven't been yet this year. You think about it logically, I think that makes the most sense. You keep the Horseshoe side for day ones and dailies. Keep all of the losers over there, and then you move everything through to Paris. They've even opened up, so for the employees, they've got the yellow section now, which is in one of the old cashier rooms. So the room last year that they used for payouts and everything, which is when you come into Paris on the left-hand side, opposite the doors on the right-hand side that take you into the main hall. They've actually used that as an additional room as well. So, and they are using the Normandy upstairs for overflow. So
they'll be in the employees' cafeteria next.
I mean, they're slowly. But what's odd is numbers are down.
Yeah.
So,
I've seen a couple of things think Lappin posted something on Twitter about it. Was it the 500? I think was up. The 500 or the monster stack, or one of the big ones was up. It was like 10k last year, got 11k. But I think most of the tournaments have been down this year, which isn't surprising given the current state of politics in America and the tax situation and everything. I think that was kind of expected.
Yeah, I think so. But for me, it was crazy that it feels like we've got more tables and they're being used, yet the schedule's not.
Well, maybe they haven't got 10 at every table. Maybe there are a few more 9-handed tables. The year that I was there, like all of them were like 10-handed hold'em tables, and nobody likes that.
I think they're only doing 10-handed in what I like to call the clusterfuck events.
Yeah.
The mini bounty, the gladiator, the whatever.
What it is, maybe they've taken a person.
Yeah, maybe, or maybe they've got more cash games in the cash game area, and I'm just not remembering it well. I mean, a lot happens in a year, right? A lot of changes, but I think, and I think from an organizational standpoint, it worked well. There was some interesting issues with Revolut. So Revolut's historically always worked. I used Revolut when I got there for the first event. I went to buy the ticket the next morning for the next event, and it told me I couldn't use my Revolut card, which I thought was odd. So I went on Twitter and just searched for WSOP Revolut just to see, is this just user error or is it a bit bigger? And there's an Australian pro that basically arrived the prior day and been told that they don't use Revolut anymore. And I was like, but I used Revolut yesterday. So I went to see the cashier, and I was like, you signed, they have to verify your card every time you get there, right? So you verified my card yesterday. I have to sign document. What's going on? No, we don't use Revolut anymore. And I was like, okay. But that coincided with the announcement of Lux and Pay being available in the US. So I don't know whether there's necessarily a agreement that Lux and Pay are now going to handle all UK transactions, or I know they can't say that, but maybe it's a conversation of would like to, But then interestingly, later on in the week, I removed my card and then added it and then tried again, and it worked. So I don't know what's going on there, but interesting that Lux and Pay is now, taking on US clients and is partnered with WSOP. I think that's better on the whole for just the ease of use, especially for us Brits not having to have cash. I say that obviously every other casino won't take anything but cash, but the WSOP.
Well, saying that, there was an agreement today. I think it was with Solana. So now accept Bitcoin at the WSOP as well.
Hey, I'm buzzing. I did hear about this obviously a little bit earlier because I was at the series and I heard conversations with people. I have Solana and it's been tanking for years. I just written the investment off, so I am excited. I'm hoping I might break even. And I read the article. They reckon that they're gonna be able to pay out winnings to Europeans on the blockchain just like that instantly. Which, I mean, it's a catch-22, right? Because when you look at charges, like depending on what platform, I don't know how much, if you guys use much crypto at all, but
not at all, no.
There's
a little bit.
There's a small charge, right, when you convert it back to cash. But yeah, I think it's a good thing. The fact that Solana's sponsoring everything, it's going to be on ESPN. I think it's got to be a pretty reputable deal, right? I think it's going to open up more options, and we all know. Let's be honest, all the big poker players have 90% of their net worth in crypto anyway. So they stake through crypto. Private games are balanced in crypto. Like, there's no real money floating around anymore. It doesn't really exist, does it? So I think that's probably playing into it. The fact that these big pros will be able to fly out and just use the currency that they want to use. I think that will help. I think it will grow the game. I think you'll start to see a lot more crypto millionaires turning up and dusting off in the 500s and the 25Ks for fun. So yeah, I think all in all it's a good thing. But definitely, when I heard of it, it definitely took me from left field, considering when you think about WSOP's stance on crypto casinos,
Mhm.
crypto
Yeah.
poker rooms. The two big crypto-based poker rooms have both been not allowed.
The patches have been banned. Yeah.
But then again, is that another reason? Is it a fact that we're partnering with Solana, different blockchain?
I expect so. Yeah.
But we can't announce it, and that's why. But then they allowed ACR, which I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
No, I mean, to be a fly on the wall in those discussions would be amazing because no one seems to know why these things happen, but they do.
Yeah. So
go on.
No, go on. Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say the other thing I think we need to factor in is obviously there's a connection between Triton and WSOP as well. They are linked and they're doing a lot of good work together to grow the game in the super high rollers. So I would imagine ACR also do a lot with Triton. So I think there's some kind of there's going to be some crossovers where people need to be kept happy. And ultimately, for me, I'd want everybody to play and have the opportunity to play everything. I think we just want to grow the game. Right? That's the most important thing. And as long as people aren't
absolutely.
And as long as people aren't doing downright terrible things to other people, I'm kind of the adage of let everybody enjoy what we love. But yeah.
But speaking of the high rollers, Dan, Galen Hall did an interesting tweet the other day when he was in the 50k super high roller. He was 5th of 36 with 5 minutes of late registration left, and then all of a sudden he was 5th of 72. It was 36 players max late regged into that super high roller. Do you think it's starting to get too egregious now? Should there be something in place to stop this?
No, I don't think so. Actually, I think I'm probably against the grain a little bit. But if the opportunity's there, the opportunity's there. I think look, there's two arguments. I watched a bit of Dean Eggs's vlog where he was like, I'm feeling sharp. I'm going to register the 25k from hand one because looking at the field, it's all the satellite qualifiers and the amateurs that want to get the bang for their buck and they want to play the 25k and they're playing the 25k. It's their shot take or they've satellited in or whatever it may be. And I want to play as many minutes against the players that I have an edge against. Completely makes sense. And I agree with that theory. I like late regging most of the time, but when I'm in Vegas, I play the very first hand because people are so bad. They want to give chips away. But then there's the others that value their time and they want to have a lie-in and they want to go out for dinner with their wives and they want to do these things and they can afford to flick in 25k. And the structure allows it. The structure is so deep anyway that they can do it. I'm kind of like, do what you want. Like from my side, it's like, if you want a late reg, you play 40 big blinds against the best players in the world for 25k, more to you.
I think in the 25Ks, it's not so much of an issue because there aren't any recreational players entering a 25. If you're entering a 25k, it's because you can afford to enter a 25k. You're not.
Yeah.
I think it's slightly different in the smaller buy-in events where people are,
but
max late regging for 15.
The smaller events haven't really had that egregious late
reg.
No,
it's a fair point.
Like I know the monster stack you could reg into day 2. Like you could reg for the start of day 2 and avoid day 1A completely, but I think you're only getting, I want to say 10 big blinds, 15 big blinds maybe. And I mean, like from my side, Chris, what would you do? You're 1500 monster stack, milli up top or whatever it is. It's stupid money. Are you playing from day 1? From the very first hand, or are you max late reg and start day 2?
If I had the option, I'd start day 2 because I'd rather have a day off.
Yeah, exactly, right. And I don't think that's a bad decision. I think there's a lot of talk about freeze outs and all this stuff. Ultimately, WSOP needs to make its money, right? Mm-hmm. And the more money the WSOP is, as frustrating and as much as David Lappin wants to break down the numbers and tell the world that it's a bad thing, the more money they make, the bigger the WSOP is going to
be. Well, this is another thing that Jeremy said a couple of weeks ago. It's supply and demand. And if people keep stumping up the cash, they're going to keep doing it. Mm-hmm. And until people, when people stop doing it, they might rethink it. But as long as people are putting their money behind the cash desk, they'll carry on doing it. And that's, it's just market forces,
Of course it is. And like from my side, like I don't play online a huge amount anymore, but when I do, I max out reg everything because my time is much more important. I'd rather put my kids to bed. I'd rather, chat with the wife for an hour. I'd rather do whatever, make a cup of coffee than I would sit down and grind online from 6 o'clock in the evening, 5 o'clock in the evening. It just doesn't interest me, and I value my time to do other things. But I will max late reg everything, and I'll play a session from say 7:30 p.m. through till 1, 2 a.m. And if I go deep, and I take that responsibility, I lose that bit of ROI and edge, but it's fine. Like, what do? I balance it by lowering my ABI a bit, and it is what it is. Yeah. But when I go away and I play live, I'll play from hand one if I can, because not only do I enjoy the social aspect, but I know I've got a massive edge playing super deep.
But I think it's it's a very fair point. I think the thing is they need to offer enough events that offer both options to people. So if you're against people max late regging, there are enough options for you to play at events that don't have that, so that you've got the choice to avoid those events if you want to, right?
Yeah, I just think, you've played an event for day one, right, and you've bagged average stat, slightly under average, whatever it may be. Why are you upset that somebody's putting the same amount of money into the prize pool and only getting 15 big blinds? And massively, yeah. I don't understand.
But mathematically speaking, there's a reason they're doing that.
Right? Yeah, because their perceived ROI is bigger than the field. But
I'm just saying that the World Series, biggest event in the world by miles, got 100 events. They should cater for everyone's wishes.
Yeah, I think if you look at the schedule in a bit more detail, I think they do. Like there's a 500 now. Yeah. Which is pure free.
But I think this is where a lot of the fears come from, is that there are more of these events coming in all the time, and people are worried that eventually that's going to be their only option, and that could be an ill-founded fear. But I think that's where the fear comes from.
Yeah, I suppose. But then you get into some murky water, right? Because then it's like like the 500 mini mystery million bounty thingy-mabobby. You could fire 2 bullets a day, and there was like 8, 9, 10 day ones. But the pros are firing 20 bullets because they want to bag a big stack and try and get $1 million bounty. And the amateurs are playing 1 bullet like it's the World Series main event. But I don't see any, they're not complaining about that advantage. And actually, I would argue that's a bigger advantage than max late regging for 15 bigs in a tournament. Yeah. If you think about it, because that pro is having, there were 17-hour day ones. They're having potentially 17 hours times 10 to amass stacks against worse players. Yeah. And with the bounty, half the prize pool is in the bounty pools anyway. So even if you make it to day, you grind and you make it to day 2, unless you've got a big stack and you're getting lots of bounties, half the prize pool is not available to you anyway. As soon as that milli goes, you're kind of sat there twiddling your thumbs, hating life. I think that's more egregious than max late regging. And I'm going to go, you obviously this is for the poker economy to understand. But actually, the unlimited kind of the 2 bullets a day, 10 flights in a small buy-in for a pro, that's where the big advantage is. And was it who pulled the $1 million bounty last year? Big pro, wasn't it?
Matt McCants, yeah.
And that just proves the theory, right? Obviously, he was fortunate to be the one that pulled it, or one of the ones that pulled it. But ultimately, there's bigger edges being taken and bigger advantages being kind of used by these pros.
That makes a lot of sense, actually.
But you're right. But again, and this is where our job in the media of poker is to inform these amateur players that actually, I think sometimes their angers and their frustrations or their perceived kind of unjust is a bit lost. Because
if poker players end up with nothing to complain about, where would we be?
Be nice, wouldn't it? I'd never lose an all-in. I'd won the main. It'd be great. But yeah. But all in all, I mean, I don't know what you guys have thought about the series. Obviously, the from a poker news standpoint, it's been interesting. The level of reporting has been down, obviously due to the relationship that WSOP have now got with ESPN and so on and so forth. So the content's been great that's coming out. I think the app's brilliant. The app's great. I've got obviously a lot of friends still over there. I can wake up in the morning and I kind of crudely know what events are in, and I can have a quick scour, find out how everybody's got on for the day. I think it's been a bit of a slow start to the series. I think there's been some really interesting stories, but not for the fans of poker, if that makes sense. Like, I think the Chinese lad James winning a bracelet and then coming runner-up, that's a great story. He's been crushing mixed games for a long time, and nobody seems to know who he is.
I think there's been a couple of decent stories, which we'll come on to later, hopefully.
Well, how about we come on to them now, Don, Mike? Why don't you give us your top 5 from the WSOP?
Okay, all right, I will. I mean, I do it the same as I did last week. I'll go from like the kind of most egregious story up to the best one. My first one, and as referred to earlier, we mentioned Bobby James. He was involved in the 4-card flop hand, which I'm guessing you both saw.
Yes.
I think I was there.
If nothing else, this should stop anyone ever complaining about a bad beat again, because let me look up the guy's name. Ricky Landay.
Yeah.
That must be the worst bad beat in poker I've ever seen. So to recap for anyone who didn't see it was Ace King versus Ace 9, and the flop got dealt out with 4 cards, 6-5-4 King. And WSOP rules say that the 4 cards get mixed up, and then one is burnt and dealt out again. In fact, Bobby James on the Poker News podcast said that he thought that was a terrible rule, and I tend to agree with him, actually. I mean, I think I've been in similar situations in tournaments in Europe, and the whole deck gets shuffled. But his point was that you've then got a 1 in 4 chance of that card being the burn, and where the K came out on the flop, there was no chance that card was the original burn. And of course, lo and behold, the King is the burn. It comes out 6-5-4, turn 7, river 8. The guy makes a straight, and Ricky Landace is out. And there's just 22 left in the tournament at the time. And to be fair to him, he took it with very good grace. But
did you check social media out like the day after?
Well, okay, maybe not
at the moment.
Maybe not in the immediate aftermath, but he came out afterwards and said, I don't blame the dealer. It's just one of those things, and these things happen. But yeah, again, it's one of those things that isn't a great look for the WSOP. And I referenced what Bobby said, and I tend to agree with him. I'm not sure it's a great rule.
I don't think it's a great rule. I think you get, like, I was there, and you can clearly see, and if you look at the footage, you can clearly see no burn card was separated from the deck either, or at least not that I could see from being in person. So that would tell you that the first card should be the burn. What is really interesting is if you look at the suits of the cards, if what we assume the burn card was ended up being the burn card, the flop would have actually been 3 diamonds.
Yeah, so he had the flush draw.
Bobby had the flush draw, which is probably a worse situation than having the backdoor straight draw. But look, it's a hard one. The rule is the rule. They followed the rule. Is the rule great? No, it probably needs to be revised. But in that moment, what else can you do? And runouts are runouts, It's like, obviously...
I think... Faris Jacka had the same thing happen to him in one of the tournaments as well.
He did, yeah. I spoke to Jacka about that at the house, and yeah, like, it wasn't the first time it happened. There's been some mistakes.
But again, you've got rookie dealers, maybe not in the 25k, but these things.
No, was one of the most experienced dealers on the circuit, and he was heartbroken. I spoke. Obviously, I know Chris, right? And I spoke to Chris about it, the dealer. He's like, that guy's been on the tour for 10 years. Like, he's one of the best, and he's absolutely gutted. He's so gutted that he's on TV table, etc., and that happened. So, I mean, financially it doesn't affect the dealer, but it's definitely had a knock on that dealer's confidence at the beginning of the series. But it's a tough one. Like, I think.
Yeah,
it's a story to tell down the pub, right? At the end of the day, like,
it's a horrible phrase, but it is what it is, and those were the rules going in. They can't change the rules, according to the house rules that they took the right procedure, and And you know,
And also, retrospectively, think of it this way. Let's say he's in Europe, and the rule is we take all the cards, we shuffle them back into the deck, we, you know, blah, 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 we burn, and we go again. And then a 9 comes on the flop.
Yeah.
We're having the same conversation, or he's
Yeah.
having the same conversation, feeling unjust, and it's...
And there's nothing you can do. I think it was Jamie Staples posted about it and said, you know, it's just part of variance in poker. These things occasionally happen, and occasionally they're going to come and kick you in the arse, and you just have to accept it. It's part of the game, unfortunately.
And also, he had 8 big blinds. Just play better for the 7 hours and don't have 8 big blinds, right? I mean, that is an option.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah,
Anyway,
so what's number 4, Dom?
Number 4, a bit of departure is not something that's happened so much as something that hasn't happened. And I'm not sure how I feel about it, so I'm interested to get your opinions. But there's still no date given for the main event final table. And I'm not quite sure how I feel about that. It feels weird.
Why do you think they haven't given it?
I don't know. You've obviously got the World Cup over there. And I think they're trying to avoid a clash with that. Otherwise, I don't know. I mean, it's not just that they haven't given it a date. They've given no indication of whether this is going to be a 48-hour gap, a 2-week gap, a 3-month gap. What were your feelings, Daniel? Why do you think they haven't given it?
Well, I know what date it is because it's on Poker News. If you check.
I checked last night. And I couldn't find it anywhere.
Let me see when this article was written. I'm just going to check, check knowledge. Oh my God! Who wrote this? This must be Will Schiller. It goes on forever. I'm joking, Will. I love you, really. It's actually on the main event page. So it's not a news article. It's a main event page, but it says here that the main event will take place August 3rd to 5th and will air on ESPN.
There you go. Okay. There's your answer then, Dom.
Well, that's good. I had a good look last night, and I couldn't find it anywhere.
As you were talking, I went to Google. I put WSOP main event final table 2026, and it obviously Poker News being the number 1 ranked poker news site in the world, this article came up top. So it says here now that it'll play down to a final table on July 13th, and then they will break for 2.5, 3 weeks, and then the main event final table will be obviously the final 9 August 3rd. They tend to play down to they do now play down to 4, don't they, or 3, or I forget. They play down to so many, and then the final 3 will be on the 5th, and it will air on ESPN. There you go.
Yeah, well, I don't know when that was posted, but I had as good a look as I could have last night. And
right.
I couldn't find any information about it. So
yeah, Dom, in your quarterly performance review, we'll be going over Googling. So what's number 3, Dom?
Number 3 was Victor Blom mucking the best hand. Did you see this?
I missed this one.
Yeah. So I can't remember what event it was, but and also it prevented him from having the best feeling in poker, which is bluffing with the best hand. So he led out the river with a bluff. The guy did a sort of mini kind of tank and called. And Blom mucked his hand, and it was one of the events that was on camera on the live stream.
Yeah.
And so everyone in the commentary booth knew he'd mucked the best hand. And if he can do it, it gives hope for all of us, I think.
I think my favourite part about this story wasn't that story at all, but it was the fact that I'd learned something about my nostalgia years of poker that I never knew before. But have you seen this story?
Is this the Roland de Wolf thing?
The Roland de Wolf thing, where the Germans that Roland de Wolf always mucked when he was bluffing when called. So they started calling him with 7 high and just waiting for him to show his hand.
Yeah.
And then he would just muck because it was an absolute bluff. Yeah. And then one of them yelled 9 high in his face. He was on the river with 9 high and he's just refusing to show his hand until Roland shows his. So Roland's like, oh shit, I'll fold. And then he just windmills it. I thought it was brilliant.
Yeah, I don't think Victor Blom will be making the same mistake again. But
No.
that was number 3. Number 2, we kind of mentioned in passing, Naoya Kihara. I apologise for the pronunciation. Being the first player to win 2 bracelets this year, and the fact that he was up against James Chung, who'd also already won a bracelet. So when it got heads up, whoever won that tournament was going to be the first 2 bracelet winner. But
Well, also, they were both back to back. Neither of them had played events in between.
yeah, which is incredible. And Chiara, I think he won a bracelet before. It was like 14 years ago.
Yeah.
And he went 14 years without another one, and then won 2 back to back.
Yeah, well, I spoke to someone that spoke to him, and he was ready. This was his last summer. He was like, I'm going back to cash games. I'm done. Like, it's like, I've had enough of tournaments. They're breaking me. And then he just goes on a generational run, which is.
Well, he's like 2nd or 3rd in the Player of the Year now, so he'll definitely be playing some more.
Yeah, not many people have him in their fantasy team, weirdly enough.
No, and the ones that do are riding very high. I looked at the Poker Org one earlier today, and everyone in the top sort of, I don't know, 20 places has got him in their team. So, yeah.
Yeah, I looked at mine. I'm looking at mine again now, and I am not doing very well.
You and me both. And so, yeah, number 1, it can only really be Kristen Foxon. You were saying earlier that there haven't been many big stories, but I think this is probably the biggest so far. Kristen Foxon winning her 6th bracelet.
Well, it was until the whole Holtz and Hawkins thing.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, look, I think people forget about Foxon and just about how accomplished she is. Like, there's obviously a lot of talk about her being the best female poker player. I don't disagree with that. I absolutely believe that. But I think she's one of the best poker players, just full stop, period. We don't need to worry about gender.
No. We've had this discussion actually in one of our very early episodes. We had this discussion. It's just like, she's top 5 in the world probably, regardless of gender.
I remember battling against her 20 years ago when she was a Supernova Elite cash game grinder. She used to grind, like, she was Supernova Elite grinding, and I'm talking like 51, 1, 2, 2, 5 maybe, like back in the day, 20 plus years ago. And I remember Chrissy B24 was her online screen name on Stars. I remember grinding against her, like playing these games, and she was just such a big winner. Like, she absolutely was ahead of and this was 20 years ago, and she's just continued and continued and continued. And obviously now marries Alex, and what a great opportunity for them. They're both obsessed with poker. They both love the game, and they both study. And I just think she fully deserved that. I couldn't think of a better person to win it.
She's in some years, and I think it's 5.7 million or something she's won this year.
Yeah, 100%. And to think, you have to think, she's I know last year at the WSOP, last year that she bubbled the final table.
She bubbled the final table last year. Yeah.
But even before then, like, a lot of people were just, she's only got good because she's married Alex Foxon. And it's like, well.
And she had all that shit as well with the King fold earlier in the year as well. And it's just like, the people that are kind of commenting on that, no idea of
No, I think she thoroughly deserves it. And you know what? I really hope, there's a couple of women really kind of steamrolling poker at the moment, and I hope they can bring more women into the game to make it less of a fucking sausage fest and bring down some of the egos that we have, because
couldn't agree.
Foxon's doing really well. Obviously, Liv Bray came back after a break and last year and final tabled the WSOP.
Annette's back.
Annette's back. That's a huge thing. Jen Shahade is doing loads of work, trying to bring people in. I just saw recently as well that what's her name? Esther Taylor, the mixed game player. She's now teaching women mixed games and trying to bring them in. There seems to be, obviously you've got the content creators like the Caitlin's playing mixed games exclusively and really pushing that envelope, trying to get women into mixed games, Nikki Limo, etc. There seems to be a real tour de force of good female players, but also just, good representatives of the brand of poker.
And you've got KJ and Lydia over here doing the same thing, and
massively, absolutely. Yvonne in Malta, like there's a lot of them now, and I just hope it can keep growing the game, because I've played poker for many, many years. Some of the dirtiest spots I've been put in are by these women. They are the women that want to take it seriously and even if they don't, but they want to have fun, that's fine. But the ones that do take it seriously, they're sharp, you know, they're good. And I'm sick of hearing this argument of, you know, the difference between men and women poker players. I think it's baloney.
Yeah.
I'd much rather sit against the guy writing that on Twitter that Martin Luther
Absolutely,
for free than I would sit across with Foxen and have to deal with that. So yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that was my story of the week, and I obviously, as you say, I wrote them up before the Holt Hawkins thing. But there you go.
Yeah, not covered yourself in glory there, Don, to be honest. But
when do I ever cover myself in glory?
Yeah, let's not change the habit of a life.
the amount of editing I have to do to like cover his ass sometimes, it's ridiculous.
He's not lying.
So, Dan, we gave you a few questions to mull over before the start of the show. Do you want to kick things off with one thing you just love about poker?
Yeah. I mean, what I love the most about poker is it's going to sound really cheesy, but like friendship. So I started playing poker when I was maybe 15 or 16. But I have a home game that's ran. I remember the first time I got invited to this home game, poker had only just really started. I lived in a real little town in the countryside, out of nowhere. And one of the lads from the pool club, I used to play competitive pool, invited me. I was 18. I remember riding on my push bike, 2 crates of Stella in a bag each, getting there, like wobbling all the way. We played till 6, 7 in the morning. It was great. I still play with those guys today. So this is 23 years. It's the same core group of 6 or 7. We get together twice a year. We play for 20 quids, £5. Like, it doesn't really matter. And that's what I love the most about poker is that...
I think I have to agree with you. I think it's my favourite thing. And I think it's a trick that the poker industry has missed because it's so focused on, you know, the successful players and the high rollers. And certainly in my career as a poker player, as a poker journalist, I've never been the best at either of those things, and I'm here to kind of represent the kind of the grassroots and the people that are playing for fun, and there's not enough made of that. And I mean, I'm similar to you. I started playing back sort of 2001, 2002, and my best friends in the world have all been made through playing poker, and they're still friends today. And it's not valued enough, and it's not talked about enough. I think that's a great step.
Like for me, it's the ribbon, right? Obviously, my trajectory in poker,
absolutely.
Right? I mean, to be honest, my ROI in that game is very good. But that's the point. Because on the days that they get me, that's their Christmas. And the banter, and the messages I get for weeks afterwards, you're supposed to be great, blah, 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 blah. You know, but that is what makes it. Like, it is just, I have the best time. And it sounds really corny, but like, the one guy always makes a loaf of bread and brings it to the home game. One of the guys always makes a homemade chili, brings it to the home game. Like, and it's these little things that without
my best times have always been playing 5p, 10p in the pub after closing time.
Yeah,
and you just get, like you say, that banter, and it's fantastic. And like I say, I don't think it's talked about enough. That's a great chat.
There we go. Does that get number 1 on the list of all your guests? Yeah. Do I take top spot?
Well, you're only the second one that we've offered these questions to.
I'm still top, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. I just think
So, what's one thing you'd like to add to poker?
Do you know what? I thought about this one really hard. Like, there's definitely a side of me that would like to find a way to sportify it, kind of, you know, get it back into that mainstream TV. I know the World Series is trying it with ESPN, but I think it needs more than just a US kind of coverage. And I don't know how that looks, so I don't really have an answer for that. But then I realized I'm a grumpy person. And there is one thing that winds me up more than anything, and it kind of eluded me until I sat on this for a while. I would add shot clocks. Fucking cannot stand people tanking. Those time bank cards break me. If anybody's played with me in the UK, you'll see I hand them back to the dealer. If you need more than 25 seconds to know what you're doing, go somewhere else, please. We're paying far too much rate to sit and watch. And people just abuse them for the sake of abuse. I think in the charity team event, obviously for APAC team events, I play for a charity. I actually sold mine to another player for charity money. You can have them because you're taking a very long time, but they're a tenner each for charity. I flogged them, but I think for me, I think shot clocks. I would add to the game. I just think they're needed more. And I know this, it sounds a bit shitty, and it sounds like, well, obviously you play a lot of poker, maybe you can make decisions quicker and reason quicker. But I actually think it helps newer players get more au fait with kind of their thought processes. I think the biggest problem in poker is a lot of okay players have really poor structured thought processes.
Yeah.
If they can make those a bit quicker and get to the answer a bit quicker, not only would their game improve dramatically, but they wouldn't waste my life. So it's a win-win for me. So,
I also think once you go over a minute, you start second guessing what your instincts and your first thoughts were anyway. And I'm not sure the extra minutes help you come to a better decision.
No, but and this is the thing: the people that tend to use the time banks are the people that think, I say this crudely, but incorrectly, right? There's a way to think about hand in poker. You want to be thinking about ranges, whereas these are the players that are probably just, oh no, an ace came on the river. He could have ace king. He could have ace king. And they start ranging you based on.
Hello.
This is my point, right? And these are the two types. It's Evan over here. What's going on there? But this is the point. And actually, if the players didn't have the time to kind of mull over all of these kind of,
that's my point exactly.
They'd get better, they'd think quicker, and actually they'd probably make less mistakes. They'd probably call off less, but it would just make the experience more enjoyable for everybody. And also it would stop the likes of Kasuf just talking shit for 4.5 minutes, because his time is, his clock would run out, his hand would be dead, and we just wouldn't have to deal with that absolute nuisance. So yeah, that's what I would add, I think.
Win-win.
Yeah. Still number one on that one too, yeah.
I don't know. I can't remember what Jeremy said now.
So Jeremy did suggest having standing at the table, so you'd have a raised poker table. So instead of just sitting there, yeah.
I'd like that one as well, to be honest.
Yeah, but then I added the thought that we should have a treadmill on as well. So if you
imagine if half the table want it up and half down.
Yeah.
I just place that down. I sat down. All the chips are coming this way. I don't know.
No, the treadmill idea was fantastic, Chris, and you need to copyright that as soon as possible.
Yeah, so that idea was spun off from Jeremy's idea. So everyone's on the treadmill, and if you win a pot, your treadmill slows down. But if you lose a pot, then your treadmill starts to speed up, and then you get knocked.
I would be fucked on the wheel.
You wanted to sportify it. There's your answer.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want the insurance claims all. Oh dear.
So what was? Hang on.
The next one.
What's the next one, Dom?
Is something you would ban from poker.
We alluded to it earlier. I just ban players being dicks to dealers specifically, like that. I think zero tolerance. A dealer has. The dealers have now got bless the WSOP dealers. I was actually having to log in for them and eliminate players, and the employees. and the TD comes over to me and goes, "Have you been eliminating the players?" I went, "Yeah." She went, "Oh, thanks." I thought I was going to do you want a job? I was like, "No, all right." But no, I just think they have the units. They're all built in. You swipe your card, you're there and in that seat, etc., etc. There should just be a panic button on there. And if a player's being a dickhead, just press the button. And you've seen the security guards in Vegas, right?
Right, yeah.
They're fucking packed.
And they've got dogs as well.
Those fuckers over pointing a magnum in their face and say, "Oi, dickhead."
Yeah.
Because, look, and I joke about it, but I'm a parent. I've got kids. If anybody spoke to my wife or my kids when they're in their job in the way that we allow these reprobates to speak to the dealers that are just turning up and trying to earn a living, they wouldn't stand for it. And I think we shouldn't stand for it. So that would be my thing. Somehow you can take them to the parking lot and shoot them like a dog if you want. That's up to you. But at least have a system where we eject them from the tournament and have a zero tolerance.
It should be zero. It should be zero tolerance. Absolutely.
And they'd soon learn. And if they don't learn, we don't have to see them again. Win-win. God, I'm a very angry man today, aren't I?
I bring that out in people.
Don't I fucking know it. Oh,
yeah. I was just about to say, the evidence is here.
I used to be sober.
To be fair, Chris, when I met you only a year ago, you were 22, so I don't know.
Very true.
Definitely had an effect on you.
And the final question, Dom.
Final question is one recommendation that's non-poker related: film, music, TV, anything, any kind of interesting.
Yeah, do you know what? This was a really tough one actually, because I was thinking of TV stuff, but everything that I don't watch a huge amount of TV. I just don't have the time. But I did recently watch The Boys, which I really enjoyed, but I figured most people probably watched that are listening to your podcast. And if they haven't, maybe they're not the right type of person. I don't know if you saw it, but it's very close to the plot, shall we say. Very,
Yeah. I've not seen it. My missus watched it and she loved it, but yeah, I've not seen it yet.
Oh, it's great. It is great. It is great. And then I was thinking about music, but my music collection is very eclectic, and unless you like twiddly guitar music, you're really not going to be that interested in.
So you'll have seen Angine de Poitrine then, who I've been banging.
Yeah, I listened to that. I mean, you can't see it, but there's about 3 guitars up on the wall. But like some of my favorite, I like the classics: the Steve Vai, the Satrianis, the Yngwie Malmsteen.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I settled on a Netflix TV series that I found during lockdown, and I'm going to be honest, it kept me sane during lockdown. So far that I actually ended up on a Zoom call with the actors from the show, because they were putting on Zoom calls during COVID to help people out. And they're Canadian, mind, so this was at like 4 a.m. in the morning. But I had nothing better to do because it was and it's a comedy show about a convenience store. It's based on a play originally, and it's called Kim's Convenience. I don't know if any of you have seen it.
No,
but
never even heard of it.
They're a Korean family. The dad is quite a famous actor. He's been in like the Star Wars stuff recently. And one of the sons is played by the guy who was the first Asian Marvel character they recently had.
Oh, I'm not Marvel Universe
knowledge.
No,
either.
I'm not any universe, if I'm honest. But he ended up going from this show, and then he got like his big break straight after this show. The actor's name is Simu Liu. What was he in? I'm going to tell you what he's in now. He was in Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, and then he's in Avengers now. But it's just hilarious. It's like some of the best written comedy, and because it's Canadian, it's very close to English humor. But yeah, it's basically a Korean family that own a convenience store.
Kim's Convenience. So I'll check that out, definitely. I've never even heard of that.
I absolutely wet myself watching it every time, and it got me through COVID. Like, it was just a joy to watch.
I do like Canadian humour. I used to watch Kids in the Hall when I was a lot younger, and you'd have to be pretty old to remember that. But
I might have seen some of it actually, but this is, and it's got the Korean humour in as well, right? So like they very much play on the fact that Korean tradition's very different, and it's fucking hilarious. Like one of the scenes, the dad in the shop, he's got a steel detector. So he's chatting to his daughter, and it's in a very Korean accent as well, like Korean English. And he's like, this person is a steal. What do you mean? Well, they're going to steal from the shop. Well, how do you know? Because he does this, this, and this. This one, no steal. And then he's like tricking his daughter. Like, which one do you think? Watch it. I'm not going to judge it. But
that sounds great.
Yeah. And it's only like 3 or 4 seasons. It's not and it's half-an-hour episodes, really digestible. But yeah,
nice one. Yeah, I like that.
There you go.
I'll be checking that out tonight.
Good. So you should.
Right. Well, I think we're getting close to wrapping up here. But Dan, have you got any plans to play anytime soon?
Don't know.
He's going back to the main event, apparently.
Yeah, I might do. What's going on? I'm not going
to party poker.
I'm not going to Manchester. No. No. Unfortunately, Manchester's just a bit too far for a short festival. I was going to come up for the Worlds for APAC because need to add to the bracelet hall up there, but I can't because I had a nightmare with this. I might have told the story before to you, but I booked my family holiday. So last year, my family holiday clashed with the Worlds. The year before, it clashed with the Worlds. So I was like, okay, Lee, there's Tom. The Worlds are going to be these dates then, I guess, because it clashes every year. And it was like a quiet, yeah, pretty much. Brilliant. So I booked a holiday for a different date. And then Dusk Till Dawn let them down for the venue. They moved the venue. And when is it? When I'm on holiday. Can't fucking wait for it. So, no, I don't know. I think I'm going to, obviously, you've got the Goliath coming up end of July. I will no doubt be firing infinite bullets in that. Might try and get to the Hender Mob stuff in July just before that as well. That's at Dusk Till Dawn, so that's not too bad for me. Because I'm in the Cotswolds, so I'm a little bit out of the way. But that's so that's not too bad. And then yeah, I don't know really. What about you? You guys are obviously playing Manchester. I guess you're playing. Chris will be playing the Worlds.
Depends on my wife's like shifts, but I'll definitely be trying to get down for at least 2 or 3 of the events. So.
Yeah, be playing Manchester, and I don't know. I might try and get back over to Ireland. I know there's another party poker in Cork later, and I used to love playing at the International Poker Open. That we used to go out there every year with a group of lads from the pub game that I was talking about earlier, and I haven't played there since COVID. Okay. I love that. It's very similar vibe to like the Irish Open, but on a sort of slightly smaller scale. So mind you, that's not till October, but those are the two that I've kind of got marked off in my calendar.
But 2 of the games next week, Daniel, just to get your thoughts of these different games. What do you make of Pot Limit Horse?
I played Pot Limit Horse before. Because that was in Sheffield, right? We played in Sheffield.
It was bizarre.
Well, I can tell you exactly what I think, because I think my word as I played it was fucking carnage.
Yeah.
It absolutely was.
There's a nuance in horse for most of the games. The fact that it is limit means the players that know how to negotiate the streets with the best information retention can tend to do really well and outrun variance. That does not help when you're playing Raz and a guy just bangs a 2 down on 4th and goes, pot! Right? Yeah, okay. Like, there was a guy on my table in that tournament who in the first 3 levels went from starting stack, I don't remember what starting was, but let's say it was 30k, crudely that, to like 300k in like 3 levels, and then was out before the first break. Because he just was like, well, in Pot Limit Omar, I don't know how to calculate the bet sizes, so I just say pot. So I'm just going to say pot for every time I want to put the chips in the middle.
I had a very similar experience when they introduced no limit high-low on PokerStars many, many years ago. And it was just absolute carnage. I still don't like it.
I play a private game that is 1-1. It's the only game close to me. Very good game. Love playing the game there. Host looks after us. It's lovely. But most nights, it's 1-1 NLO. So it is fun. You can all sit with a couple of £100 and the game starts nice and everybody's chatting and there's poker on all the TVs and free food and it's great and the Chinese arrives. You're scoffing at the Chinese and the next thing you know, you look around and everybody's got like 17k in front of them because it's and I'm sat there with the spring rolls, like trying to give action in the game, and I'm like, guys, what have you been doing while I'm eating? It's just carnage, absolute carnage.
Yeah, Omaha no limit is it's a different world.
So so good luck in that. I mean.
Well,
you are the Irish Open 8-game champion, so you of everybody.
Sorry, I haven't mentioned it yet.
Jesus Christ, he doesn't need that kind of encouragement.
Even a blind squirrel can find a nut once in a while.
But the other game which is interesting is a Pot Limit Triple Draw, which I think is going to be double carnage.
Is that really on the skip?
Pot Limit Triple Draw.
I see it's just a 7 triple draw by Poker. What are Polka.pro doing? Are they just don't want to write about these events or something? They're just like, do you know what?
Let's get them over done with as quickly as possible.
I think look, the good thing is it's 60 quid, right? Mm-hmm. So and it's a 20-minute clock, so fucking hell.
It'll be over in an hour and a half.
Hot limit chicken. Yeah, that's really in the middle, isn't it? Because obviously you've got no limit singles rule, which I don't mind. I quite like it. There's a good strategy in there if you can figure it out. But triple draw.
Because I know in the States that they got pot limit double draw, so just the 2 draws rather than the 3. But it's like, is that your stomach, Tom? Right.
Hang on.
I just think. I don't know. Like, yeah, it's obviously crapshooty, but I tell you what, you get dealt a couple of pat hands and you're fucking laughing.
Yeah. And
I told you they'd go off, didn't I?
you get dealt an 86 in the first orbit. Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be fun. Yeah, interesting. I've just seen, because they've obviously got when the Hender Mob Champs is on, they've got one in London, and I'm just having a quick look to see if that's. So the Switzerland's on the PLO Masters, whatever. PLO's boring. I've already got a PLO bracelet. I don't need any more PLO.
It's a PAP bracelet we must add, not a WSOP one.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. When you come, show me your APAC bracelets, and I'll show you mine.
I've got my medals. So.
All mine are up. Well, actually no. Most of mine are in the attic. But yeah, so they're beautiful, aren't they? Do you know what I love? This is my favourite one because it doesn't even say what event I won. It says side event winner. Like what? I said to Des, I said, I want that replaced, and he's like, I can't afford it. I was like, you absolutely can. No, I might. Do you know what? I might head down to London and play that because that just looks hilarious. Pot limit horse, pot limit triple draw. Like the games are back to back in the evening. I can go to the office in the day because I'm not interested in the main because I haven't got 3 days to waste anymore. Oh, that does look juicy, doesn't it?
Is this poker again, is it?
Yeah, so yeah, I think we need to set the line on how many bullets Chris will do.
Oh, God.
You're a bit nitty though, Chris, right? If I remember, so.
Yeah, but with that game, I'll probably buy 2 or 3 at least. So.
Okay, I was going for 6. Well, okay.
Wow. I'm not Mr. Monopoly. Like, it's like...
You just won 10.5.
Yeah.
The trophy.
And like 2 weeks after, my car blew up.
I was going to say, you spent that on a car.
I mean, at least you won it, I suppose. Imagine that if you didn't work if you hadn't. Hey? Sorry, I know you want to go, but have you seen that the Hender Mob has a 230 online day one for their main event now?
Really? Where at?
Well, I don't know. If you go to the Hender Mob page and go to their festival, it just says Thursday the 9th of July, 8:05. Oh no, it does say GG Poker. I didn't see that there. Very unique numbers. So 8:05 start, reg until 22:07. I mean, you can't get more precise than that. 200k. I suppose it means you don't have to play the main, right?
So 31 minutes a level or something.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. Early bird, reg free. Well, that's good. If you early bird it, you don't pay the £30 rake.
Yeah, that's a nice little twist. I like that.
I like a bit of value.
Yeah,
I do like a bit of value. Yeah. What are your plans for the rest of the year? Anybody going to Malta? Anywhere exciting, or are we just staying in the UK?
I'm completely flat broke at the moment, so I don't really have any plans. But I would love to get to Malta. That is next on my bucket list. It's one of the Malta events.
But I think my next thing will probably be like one of Franca's festival series. Like, so I think I got to Malta in September. I think that could be on the
agenda. Yeah, it's September. Yeah, Frankie, bless him. I speak to him a lot, and he's always like, "Come on down. When are you coming out?" And it never aligns. But I think September might work.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something to be said about 550 horses main event.
I've not played Torse yet, and I really want to.
You need to.
Yeah, I mean, it's a brilliant idea. They've taken out the worst game and put in a much better one.
I mean, I would like to play the €125 roulette championship. I have absolutely no idea how that works. I'm sure that's a game for me. Black 17.
we played one of the roulette games, didn't we? Was that no? It wasn't Sheffield. Was it Walsall that we played that?
That must have been you because I wasn't at Walsall.
We played what?
No, we played a slot tournament. We didn't play a roulette tournament.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it wasn't roulette. It was slots. Yeah, you're right.
But yeah, this festival schedule, I see why you like it, Chris. It's got the double draw, deuce to 7 pot limit. It's also got like a fun. They used to do these events at APAT, and they don't do them anymore. The cash game challenge. So APAT had at the Worlds. I don't know if you were playing them that year, Chris, but they had a cash game tournament, which was the most fun thing ever. So it was 1-1. Or even 51, I think, in the first round, and it was tables of 8, and there was basically as many tables as they could fit, and you just play cash, and you played until you bust, or you could have one you could top up or whatever for one stack. So in essence, you had 2 bullets, and you'd play for 4 hours, and at the end of the 4 hours, the top 8 stacks would go to the final table with the money they've got, but it would go from 51 to 1-2.
All right.
And 1-2. It was the most fun ever. Like, because the last 5 hands is like carnage. If you're like 7th or 8th, and I remember the one year I didn't make I came 9th. I missed the final table by literally like £2.
Oh.
And then it was Adam Sharples, which is where he got the nickname the Slug, because he snuck in an 8th and then declined his place at the final table and took his winnings. But the rule was the final 8 made the final 8. If you weren't in that final 8, you're out. Obviously, you keep your winnings, but if somebody drops out of the final table, because at the final table you had the chance to take your winnings or you gamble your winnings at the final, right? And he didn't like the lineup at the final, so he took his winnings, and then meant I missed out on the place in the final, and I obviously wanted to spin.
Oh.
So he got called the Slug from there on in. The name that he still holds. But it was, you've met Webber, right? We all know Chris Webber.
Yes.
I don't know.
Well, Chris will get about this. It wasn't like, oh, mate, you're a slug. It was that, this was like 10 plus years ago. So it was the giant, you're a slug! Honestly. I'm obviously not bitter, right? I'm not bitter about it 15 years later. But I like it. But no, Chris, we'll have to. Yeah, let me know about this in September. I am interested. I love Malta. I need to go and see Yvonne anyway, and it's at the Porto Masso, so I feel like this could be a fun week.
Okay.
I'll stick it on the calendar and see what I can do.
Yeah, come on. We'll go. We'll get a group, because I bet we can get like the Sweet and all those lot to come as well.
Okay, I'll start working on my wife now. It's probably going to take a couple of handbags to get permission. That's
it'd be cheaper if you just leave her.
Yeah. I'll come to think of it.
She's probably listening upstairs going, come on, yeah.
I was going to say, I think it's time to end the podcast.
No, the thing is, then, I asked her the other day, what's the name of my podcast host the other day? And she went, Ian? And like, so, she hasn't got a clue, so like...
I mean, if he lost some of the hair, he could be like he's a bit of a younger Ian Hislop, maybe. I don't know.
A guy just said younger. I'll take it.
You take what we can get in life. That's the thing, isn't it?
Yeah. I always think he's more like the lead singer of the Shaman, but that's like.
He just needs a top hat.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I'll take that as well. He's got a lot more money than I.
He's got a lot more equity as well.
Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Like, you don't know where Dom's secret stash is. So like...
They were in the trousers he sold to Mike Holtz.
Nor do I.
Oh, brilliant.
All right, before we get cancelled, we better call it there.
Yeah, Dan, it's been lovely having you on, mate.
No, thanks for the invite, gents.
Yeah. We'll catch up with you at some point later on in the year.
And we'll see you next week.
Cheerio, everyone.